welcome back. This is another episode of Life, Love, and the Pursuit of FI with your hosts, Greg Gaskin
and Austin Culp.
And today we have special guest, Ryan Ruff. Hey, Ryan, how are you?
Great. How are you guys?
Doing fantastic.
Doing pretty well. Can't complain too much.
Good.
Still alive.
So, Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and what you've been working on these past few years?
Yeah. So my name is Ryan Ruff. I am the COO of Investall. And Investall is an app that helps you to spend dynamically and invest wisely. So really passionate about it. It's not just a job. It's something that I've been passionate about for ever since I can remember. And so it's a labor of love, and it's been a fun journey.
That's awesome. So what does the app do?
Yeah. So the first thing we do is, I guess I should explain what spending dynamically is. And so it's a new strategy that we're kind of pioneering. I spent some time at Duke in their behavioral science research lab under Dr. Dan Ariely. I was pretty fortunate to spend about a year there in his lab, and we looked at a lot of the research and found that some of the traditional budgeting theories that are out there, they actually create these negative feedback loops that cause people to just be miserable. I think most people give up on a budget within the first few months. And so we found that there's this concept, academically, they call it opportunity cost consideration. And when you're basically framing your spending decisions in terms of opportunity cost, most people are able to naturally make smarter spending decisions. So we kind of said, well, what if we built an entire framework for managing money that was around that? What would that look like? And so we call that dynamic spending. And so what we do is we try to help people create a framework where they'll naturally make smarter spending decisions around understanding their opportunity cost. And as they start to make those better spending decisions, they start saving money that could be invested. And so then we use our robo tools to help them invest that wisely. I think it's something in the neighborhood of 80% of people who try to get into the market to invest will lose money. And it's just because people are, investing emotionally. They don't know, what they're doing. It's not their full-time gig. And so they end up making some mistakes. And so we try to help them to invest wisely with that.
Nice. That's pretty awesome. How did this kind of, how did you get around to the idea of kind of creating this app?
Yeah. So maybe I'll go back quite a ways. My grandfather, he actually, he was in the personal finance space, and, he was a financial influencer before that was a thing, I think. Back in the 1970s, he wrote a New York Times best-selling book. I think it's been over a year on the bestseller list, and he segued that into a newsletter. So he wrote a newsletter every 3 weeks for about 40 years. So he was kind of an OG personal finance influencer. And then my father, he went into personal finance as well. So he's had a company that helped people pay off debt. And that's where I got my start. I was helping people at my father's company to pay off their debt and meeting with them on a monthly basis, and started to realize that while we're helping these people pay off their debt mess that they'd made, some of them were secretly making a new debt mess over on the side. And so I kind of took it as my calling in life. My grandfather was helping people invest. My dad was helping people pay off debt. And I found my calling was, I'm going to help these people spend wisely and learn how to not get into debt in the future, so that when they get their debt paid off, they're going to actually have money to invest.
It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
How many users to this date have you had, if any? Has the app officially launched yet?
Yeah, so a little bit more about that background. So after working for my dad, I started a company called SpendPal. And SpendPal was basically focused on helping people to understand opportunity cost and creating this framework. That's where a lot of these, it was kind of trial by fire. We learned a lot. And we'd SpendPal was kind of like a manual version where it was, think of the cash envelope system, but a more manual version or a digital version of that, so that you didn't have to actually carry around envelopes full of cash everywhere. And then we went from there, and I realized that the principles were working. It was helping people to spend smarter and get ahead financially, but it was a lot of work. It was something that, not most people were willing to do. So early adopters and people with really big pain points, they were willing to go through and use the software manually, but we really wanted to digitize it. And at that point, I had known the founder of Investall for quite a while. And Investall, I think it's on the investment side, we're sitting around 13,000 users that have the app. And we decided to merge the concepts from SpendPal into the Investall app and kind of create a super app. So although the Investall app, it's been around a while, I think they've got their GIPS certification for about 6 years. They've been, doing a really fantastic job of using their robo stuff. But the personal finance stuff is brand new, and we're actually going to be launching that next week is when we're going to be launching some of those aspects of the app. So it's kind of like spend dynamically and then invest wisely is the 1-2 punch that we're bringing together here, where before people had to come to the app already ready to invest and have their personal finance situation already kind of squared away.
So, I guess would you say you're pretty much merging a robo-advisor with budgeting software?
Yeah. And so, I mean, we've got our robo-advisor. We've actually got 3 different strategies that you can go for. So you can use the robo where, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. Here's my risk tolerance. Here's, some of the types of things that I'm interested in. And it will just build a strategy for you and automatically invest. But then we have our AI trader, which is, you know what? I really like these 4 stocks. Maybe it's, I love Nike and I love, Amazon or Tesla or whatever it is that you decide you like. And then it will automatically trade within those stocks for you. So it'll say, okay, this is projected to go down. And then it will automatically, get out of some of those things, or it's projected to go up and it'll buy more. So it can automatically do that for you. Or the self-directed version where you can just trade however you want, similar to like a Robinhood type experience. So we really have, something for everyone, if they, from a beginner who just wants to be completely hands off, all the way to, I know what I'm doing, I just need access to the markets.
Okay.
That's awesome. I think, I think being able to digitize a lot of this will kind of help in some aspects. With your robo advisor, did you guys partner with a certain investing company, brokerage, or firm to kind of help create that software?
Yeah, there's a few of them that we work with, and we're also open to working with more. We'll do, we have some white label solutions. There's some FIs that, if they wanted to use their own brokerage service, they could white label our product and put it over, skin it and, use it as their own. So we've got a few different channels that we work with, but we've got our direct to consumer version where we'll set up and help them set up their own brokerage account and everything. Or, we can, set it up where they can do their own brokerage as well.
Okay, that's awesome. So, Investall, a little bit more about that besides the personal finance piece. How many users per month or in general have kind of downloaded or are using Investall software currently to date?
Yeah, right now it's about 13,000 that are on it. So it's one of the smaller ones, but it's something where we're trying to expand that by using the personal finance side as kind of a gateway, or to get into it, because for a lot of these people, if they don't know Investall from any other app, it's kind of hard setting up a brokerage account. There's a lot that goes into it. You got to, give your social security number and your date of birth and all these things. And it's just something you have to do to set up a brokerage. And so when someone comes in and they're just thinking, oh, I want to get started, and they get asked all these questions, sometimes it's kind of like, it can be nerve-wracking for someone. So what we're using the personal finance side for is, hey, let's get you first set up, get your money in order, show you some cool insights about your spending, and that, some of the things we can do without them even setting up their brokerage account yet. Our software will go in and look at up to 5 years of their past spending. And so when we review their past spending, we can find things like, what is their average spend per category? How much are they spending in each of these categories? What recurring expenses do they have? Maybe they've been paying for, Spotify twice, and they didn't even know that, or they're paying for 2 Netflix accounts. You see those sorts of things happen and people just don't even realize it. So we can figure out all that stuff for them and then automatically help them start getting on top of their finances. And then as we do that, we're like, hey, look, you've got $513 that you can invest right now based on your past spending. Let's go ahead and set up your account and get it going. And so it just makes that process a little bit easier because they can spend some time with us, get to know the Investall app, see some value before they have to set up their brokerage account.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now, does the personal finance side to it, a lot of the people who watch this podcast are personal finance people. Does it allow to invest into only stocks, or is it also mutual funds and bonds, or, what can and can't you buy from the platform?
Yeah, you can do mutual funds. You can even do crypto through our system if you want. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it. But a lot of people, if they're trying to do stuff on their own, they will make those mistakes. So we try to push people to our robo that is one strategy based on your risk tolerance. So we have if you're willing to take high risk or medium risk or low risk, we'll put that strategy out for you. And, it's the same strategy for everyone in those risk groups. And we've done pretty well with it. So that's where we try to encourage people to go unless they know what they want to do.
Got it. Okay. That's awesome. Is there, a monthly fee or charge for being able to utilize this type of service?
Yeah, so right now what we're doing, it's $8.99 a month, but we do have a 30-day free trial so you can get in there, really figure out if you like it, understand what's going on before you would ever have to pay anything. And that's the fee when we go direct to consumer. We have some channels where we're looking at going through partnering with financial institutions where they might cover that cost for their customer base or some employer groups and things like that. And then we also have some opportunities for like personal finance influencers or for like accredited financial counselors, for example, that are getting kind of excited about this, where they can push their customers there. And then there's some opportunities for things like, one of the things we'll do in the app is we'll show the customer their weak spots. So maybe when we go in and we see their past transaction history, we may notice that, hey, their net worth is, maybe let's say $50,000 is their net worth. And, based off of their income, we might notice that, hey, it looks like maybe you're underinsured and you might need some life insurance. Or, hey, it looks like you might be overpaying on some of your credit accounts. You might be a lower credit risk. We might be able to get you down from 28% down to 12% or something like that. And so those insights, we deliver those up. And so if we partner with a financial influencer or like an accredited financial counselor, they can go over these insights with their client and help walk them through whether or not that makes sense or not to take action on any of those trouble spots. And then, there's referral revenue for that the influencers can make. And so that's one of our, for me, it's one of our more exciting pathways of growth, because I think there's a lot of people who they kind of know what they need to be doing, but if they've got a personal finance coach or an accredited financial counselor, someone that's helping them, it gives them that extra push to take that step that they need to, and it gives them someone that they can kind of be held accountable to. So that's pretty exciting for me, because we can work in partnership with these influencers and counselors and kind of create revenue together at the same time that we're helping these clients to get ahead financially.
Nice. That's pretty cool. Now, I think a big question that a lot of people have, especially with just any company in general, is do you guys sell the data of your customers?
We don't currently. We don't anticipate that will be part of the business model. I don't really like those business models. I think that it's better to use that data internally to provide great insights to the end user, deliver that up like, hey, it looks like you're underinsured. Is that something that you want to look into? If they say no, it doesn't go anywhere. But if they say yes, then maybe we could refer them out to someone where it's consumer choice, or it's consumer permissioned. And I think doing it that way, if you're doing a good job and delivering good insights, it makes more revenue for the company, and the end user is happy because you're delivering an insight to them and they're saying, yes, I want to take action on this, rather than the model of, hey, we've got all this data, let's just sell it to the highest bidder and let these people start marketing to our consumers. I think that in the long run, that's something that the consumer doesn't like, and it's something that doesn't make as much money anyway, because I think the reason why some companies would go down that path is because they're not offering something that the customer would want anyway. And so they kind of have to do it that way to make a quick buck. So I'm kind of taking this approach that I want to be in it for the long haul. I want to do something where we're helping the end user. They want to reach out to the partners that we have because we're doing something good for them. And then that way we can create a long lasting relationship.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think to be able to utilize the technology that we have in our current day and age, to be able to help, get you to where your investing goals are you want to be, I think that's crucial, right? We have the technology at our fingertips. I think that we should be able to utilize it in an efficient manner, like the way that you guys are creating this app.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the other thing too, the reason why we want to do it this way and keep it user permission and keep the data safe is because we are doing some things that are kind of controversial, I guess you would say. Maybe. I mean, some of our ideas, we were really excited about the behavioral psychology component to what we're doing. And so, like, for example, we consider ourselves anti-budgeting. Traditional budgeting theory, we think, leads most people to fail with their money. And there's some nuanced reasons why we believe that. I mean, we can talk about that if you're interested. And then this concept of dynamic spending that we're pioneering, we think that this is a much healthier way to look at money. And so we're really excited about the behavioral psychology aspects of that. And I think that when customers dive into our software and really fall in love with the way that we're doing things, they're going to be happier to engage with the tools that we recommend, because they know that we're looking out for their best interest and that we're doing things differently than anything they've seen.
That's awesome. Currently, how big is Investall for like both just the company overall, and how many people you're anticipating of being an employee base that'll kind of work on the personal finance side?
Yeah, so right now, there's the parent company, which is Allocate Right. And Allocate Right is a much more robust tool that a lot of big investment firms will use, and it's fully white labeled, and so they'll use it to, generate portfolios for their clientele, and they're usually the, $1 million plus customer, right? And so what they realized is, hey, a lot of these strategies that we're using are only helping the ultra wealthy, and they're only helping them through these big firms. And so I wonder if we could make this more a direct to user model. So that's where InvestAll came from, is kind of a direct consumer version of the Allocate Right software. And so it's fairly new in that sense, but it's built on some really proven, amazing technology that's been learning. Like our algorithms have been learning since I think around 2013, 2014. And so it really goes back a long ways, and it's based in some really solid foundations. But this is a newer tool on the InvestAll side that can be direct to market to the little guys, the people who are just trying to get ahead and, maybe can't afford, the wealth management advisors that are doing these fancy strategies for their clients.
I think that's going to be a great. I think it'll be a pretty great success when it launches. Honestly, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are going to find very good use for it. Now, is it going to be available on all like major, like the Google Play Store, App Store, Apple, stuff like that?
Yeah, so it's available today. I mean, you can go download InvestAll from the Android and the Android store and from iOS, and you can go online and engage with it that way. Just investall.app, app, and then you can get to it from your preferred channel. So yeah, and you can invest with it, and then we have the personal finance tools. The thing that's launching next week is just our latest update to the personal finance side of it. So there are some personal finance tools in there as well right now, but we're just really excited about the new release that's going to be coming out this next week. So, yeah.
It's pretty cool. Greg, did you have any questions for Ryan?
Okay, I guess play devil's advocate for the app. What do you say to people who would, I guess, like rather just use, a basic budgeting app like Mint and a robo advisor like Betterment or like Wealthfront or something like that, as opposed to using InvestAll?
Yeah, so what we're doing is actually it's a little bit easier. So like you could just use Mint and then like a Betterment, but then you're using two different platforms, and sometimes it's hard to get them to talk to each other and know what to do. And we're providing a continuous experience all the way from the personal finance side to the money automatically being able to flow into the investment, kind of making that a seamless experience and a super app, right? And so I would say that, with Mint 2 and some of these other tools, there's a lot more setup that you have to do. So one of the things that we've done is, like we talked about in the beginning about our philosophies around dynamic spending, we've built this in a way where everything is centered around opportunity cost consideration. And we don't have our clients get into the weeds about tracking every penny. I know some people want to do that, and they certainly can track every penny with our application, but we don't necessarily feel like that's necessary to make better spending decisions. What the science has shown, and there's multiple studies. When I was at Duke, we ended up looking at 38 studies, I think, and specifically on opportunity cost consideration. We looked at a lot of them. And what we found is that even if the opportunity cost that you're considering isn't even real, like for example, in one of the studies, they gave some students $15 to go out to eat, right? And then the next group, they said, hey, you could use this money to go out to eat, or you could buy a CD with it. So this was an older study. It was back when people were actually buying physical CDs. But just the fact that they were looking at this extra CD, that thinking in terms of opportunity costs like that, people were making smarter spending decisions with that $15. And they reported that they had better satisfaction of how they spent that money overall, just because they were, and they think it was because they were, the study was showing that it's because they were considering opportunity costs that they were making smarter decisions with it. So in our app, you don't have to track every penny. It just shows you, okay, you're spending from clothing and you're out of clothing money right now. So if you overspend this category, it's coming from your daughter's birthday money, right? And so when you see that opportunity cost, you think, okay, I do want to go out to eat with my friends, but not at the expense of my daughter's birthday money. So you can kind of look through and see some of your other opportunity costs, and just thinking in that way helps you naturally make smarter spending decisions. So in my opinion, this is by far the easiest way to stay on top of your money, because you just look, see your opportunity cost, and just naturally start spending smarter. At the end of the month, you can see, oh, here's how much money I have to invest. Click on invest now, and you can do the roundups if you want, or you can just set a certain specific amount and start robo investing if you want, or do your self-directed thing. So I would say this is the easiest experience to go from spending smarter to starting to get into the market and actually investing.
Okay, nice.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I think, I would love to be able to follow up with you and, being able to see where it goes on the journey of how Investall kind of evolves over the initial update that you guys do to your personal finance side. I think it'd be pretty fantastic to be able to be a part of that.
Yeah, it would be awesome. I'd love to do a follow-up, and maybe I don't know if you guys are going to be out at FinCon. Maybe we'll see you guys out at FinCon. If not there, we'll try to do a follow-up and see where we're at. But I think our growth is going to focus around working with influencers, working with accredited financial counselors and certified financial planners hand in hand. I mean, we really see that as our strategy for growth, because even though our tool is incredible, I don't know that a tool by itself, for some people it will work, but there's a lot of people who they need someone to push them along to really get out of their shell and start doing some of these things and be held accountable. So we really see partnerships as one of the ways that we want to grow and help these people to start getting ahead.
Wow. Yeah. I would love to be able to see that change. I think once people realize the benefits, I think that's when they will hopefully take charge of their finances.
Yeah. Seeing the benefits is big. But being part of a community, it's seeing the benefits in their own finances is one thing. But if they see other people that they identify with, that they feel are in their peer group, and they see them succeeding, a lot of times that will also drive action as well. And then just being held accountable by an advisor or a coach, I think is really big as well.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys are planning on teaming up with coaches and influencers and those people to kind of help integrate Investall into people's lives?
Yeah, so we're wanting to do that. I mean, we've carved out some residual revenue from our $8.99 monthly fee to go to the influencer that brings them in. But we also want to, with our revenue channels around our referrals, we also work with the influencers there to get them some revenue there, because I think it can be tough right now for some of these financial coaches and influencers when they try to do their own practice. They have to charge quite a bit right up front to their users, because they're going to put in a lot of time and energy just helping these guys set up a plan and get going. And so there's this kind of weird balance where you have to get a ton of upfront money from the client before the value has been delivered to them, because in that first month you're delivering a ton of value. And so we can help that curve be flattened a little bit, because our app takes a lot of that busy work away from the financial coach, because we get right in there as soon as their accounts are connected. We look back at up to 5 years of the client's data, and we can automatically figure out what they're spending, where their trouble spots are, where their weak spots are. So then instead of the coach having to spend a ton of time doing all that busy work and motivating them to get all their finances together to start reviewing, we've already done that. We've already said, here's the weak points. And then the coach can just take their time doing what they do best, which is the nuanced things of like, hey, it looks like here's your weak points. Let's talk through these. And they're getting right to the meat of the issue and helping their client make those impactful decisions. Like around one of the big ones for me that I'm really passionate about, I see so many people without a will and without a trust, right? And if you've got any net worth at all, if you've got a home, if you've got some of these things, you really need that in a trust, like whether it's an irrevocable or a revocable trust. I see so many people that, when something does happen and then that home has to go into probate, and there's all these taxes and fees and everything that they get hit with at one of the most difficult moments of their life. It's really, really difficult. And that's something that people just don't think about. But when they understand, it's not that hard to set up an irrevocable or a revocable trust. And when you put your home in there, it just makes life so much easier in the event that something does happen that you weren't expecting. And for the people who are left behind, it really helps them to make to not get into a financial hardship as well. So those sorts of things, I think it's really valuable for the coaches and the financial planners to be able to spend their time on those nuanced issues that an app really can't convey to a user within a few minutes.
Okay. So in the app, like based on people's like net worth and stuff, the program will like suggest if someone should think about, creating a will and stuff.
Yeah, it'll suggest those things, and then the coach can kind of go over and talk with them about that. And then if they end up deciding they want to do it, they can do it with their own partners, or they can pass them back to us. And we've got some partnerships that we can have these users take advantage of, and then collect some referral revenue and split that with the influencer or the coach as well. But yeah, other things too, like another one that I see people not prepare for is home repairs. That's a huge one. And car repairs. And so even if we do go back 5 years in their spending, maybe they didn't need a new roof for the last 5 years or a major repair, and then all of a sudden they get hit with their water heater goes out, and there's hail damage, and then they need a new roof, and these things can be really expensive. And so we have some pretty incredible tools where they can just put in their home address, and we can figure out the value of their home and the square footage of their home, and give them some good estimates on how much they should be saving for home repairs or car repairs. And then we'll ask them some questions too if they have a family pet. There's things. Sometimes people will tell me, well, if something happened to our pet, we would send them to heaven and we would get a new family pet. And then other people are saying, no way, if this pet is part of the family, and if something were to happen, I mean, even if it was a $5,000 or a $10,000 expense, we would figure out a way to make it happen to cover it. So everyone's a little different, right? Well, if someone tells us that, maybe pet insurance is something that they should be looking into, right? And so we have all these channels that we can look at to help them based on their unique situations. And then if they have a situation that they need pet insurance or these things, we can refer that out. and the coach can talk to him about that and help him make that decision.
It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Well, I think that sums it up pretty well, Ryan. I think you guys have a great product ahead of you, and I'm, we're looking forward to seeing the growth behind it.
Great. Yeah, us too. And maybe we'll do a follow-up here in a few months and we can show you, hey, here's what we're planning. That this is what we told you we were planning on doing. And we'll see where we're at in a few months. And then if anybody does want to get involved, I mean, you can go to investall.app, app to download and start engaging with the app. And then also investall.app/partnerships. For anyone who wants to get involved, or a partnership, sorry, for anyone who wants to get involved and become a partner and work with us and help their clients on their journey.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll go ahead and we'll make sure to include those links in the description of our episode.
Okay, great.
No, I'm really excited to see how the app does in the next few months.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much, and maybe we'll see you guys at FinCon, and excited to stay in touch with you guys as well and engage with your audience.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, this has been another episode of Life, Love, and the Pursuit of FI with your hosts, Austin Culp.
And Greg Gaskin.
And with our special guest, Ryan Ruff. Thanks, Ryan. We appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Thanks, guys.